Well, I made it back up here to the base depot, and it's a bit tiring having to walk up carrying the camera equipment and everything. So today I don't have a snow plow, but I figured I will take this old 2.5 ton deuce and a half and drive it up and down the road and bust down all the drifts, maybe pack it down enough that the car can get back up here, so it'd make the video shoots easier to do this, and it'll be much easier if I have all my stuff right here. As you can see, I got a little bit of snow on it. I remember when I parked it here a couple months ago, spring on the foot pedal for the return, one of them is broken off, so I usually have to pull back on the pedal to bring the RPMs down. I think as soon as I get this thing started, I will, and warmed up a little bit, I'll find a spring and put the spring in there, and then we'll take this thing for a ride. So hopefully it'll start up here. The last I remember, the batteries were good in it, so we'll do that now. It up. Has a little bit of an issue keeping running on a cold start sometimes, but it's also super low on fuel. So I'll grab the camera and take in. I'll show you the inside. Pretty loud, so I don't know if you're going to be able to hear me. Up a little bit, I will go and look about replacing the spring, but let's let it warm up here for a minute. another. Well, I looked on some of the parts machines and they're all missing the spring, so I'm going to have to find one from another. So it might take me a little bit. Well, just to introduce you, this right here was the first diesel military truck that I had out here. Before this one, I did have a gasoline, an older, it was like 54, 55. But there was a giant fire out here in this mountain range and all that equipment was lost. And but this was the first deuce and a half, first big truck to, and only actually the only diesel that's gone up and down the mountain trail. There's a couple of gasoline deuce and a halves up at the top, but I drove them one way up to the top with their cargo because I didn't really trust them coming down the road. And there's some issues with coming down steep roads in these the older models because they had what was called a 7% over on the transfer case, which basically means the front axle would only engage if it turned 7% faster than the rear axles. And that's really bad when coming down a hill because that basically means you have no front end helping you. So the newer models have an air shift on the dashboard that you can flick it and engage the front axle. And when it's engaged, it's engaged. These old Sprague units, you didn't even know if you were fully engaged on your front axle or not. And this truck is an M49 A2C, or M49 C A2 or A2C. I'm not exactly sure what that was, but when I got this from the state forestry, and it wasn't complete. There was no bed, no fuel tank, no doors. Well, one door was on it, but it has no handle or anything. And basically, I was able to get the main drivetrain and just get it working enough that I could haul gravel up and down the road. But it's not a dump, so after taking it down to get gravel and bringing it back, I would have to shovel this out by hand. I do not know how many times I emptied it out, but all the gravel up on the top of the mountain for the nice flat areas where the trail comes in and meets the big road area and the pad, all that gravel is probably 40 loads. It's been a good little unit, but like I said, when I would come down the road, I had to completely rely on the brakes. And what would happen is with the front axle not pushing back with the engine helping it, the rear axle, since they're only just regular differentials, no locking or anything, one wheel on one side would turn forward and the other wheel on the other side of the truck would spin backwards. So basically this thing would like roll freely down the mountain, and it was only because you were using your foot brakes that you could actually keep from just careening off the road. That really always worried me because if I had any issues with the brakes, this thing would be completely out of control. But it went up and down for probably 4 or 5 years, and I never fully put it together, and it's basically a lot of different pieces put together. So it's here on the back burner should I decide to try to fix it up. The other truck is a newer model with the air shift front axle, which helps a lot. It has not gone up and down the mountain. In fact, I probably, just for safety's sake, will not run any of these up and down until I get the differential locks that are available for the rear axles. If I can do so, I can keep the issue with wheels spinning backwards and just breaking free. And so I can use the engine to power down the mountain and not rely on the brakes. There's some aftermarket companies that produce this lock system. You can actually purchase them from various companies, the entire differential already rebuilt for you, or you can do it yourself. I hear it's not very difficult, but at least with the other one that I'm trying to get the spring off, because I had to come over here because I'm going to take one of the springs off of this one to put on the other one for the road. So I'll just show you a little bit about how many different deuce and a halves were put together just to make this. Yeah, the fuel tank was from a different truck. The bed was from a different truck. This door is just how it was before, no handle. This truck does not have a turbo. Here was a door I picked up for it. I had to get some drive lines, but basically that's it. Now just gonna go grab the spring out of it. Well, there's only one spring, and it's like a lighter duty spring. I've seen these things with 1 or 2 springs, but this spring seems to be really light. Oh yeah. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to replace it. I won't be able to put 2 on it because there's not enough space. And I can't see those holes. All right, well, I got it hooked on the one hole. And I'm trying to see, I'm going to hook it onto this one in here. Well, I think that did it. This spring is just way too light. Have to work out, I think that'll be fine. So let's try that out. All right, well, we got the spring in. So let's see if the pedal will come all the way back. Well, I think there's just too much resistance on the hinge. So I'm going to grab some WD-40. Well, I found some liquid wrench. Usually on the hinge on the foot pedal, I have not had very good luck by just using this. Usually have to, take the whole pedal out, remove the pin, and that's usually pretty tough, and then re-lubricate and put it back together, because it's a lot of work to get it in there, because the pedal's made out of aluminum, and you'll get the aluminum oxide, and it's really tough. It just seizes everything together. But we don't have the time for that. Let's just see what we got. Well, a full can, but it doesn't work. Okay, found another can of liquid wrench, and it works. Well, it looks like it's not going to work very well, but I'll just use my foot to bring it back up when I need to. So, start her back up. Camera in here.